to Jesus Take the Three, the podcast where hoops and faith meet on the court. I'm your host, Justin Temple, and each week we'll dive into the world of basketball, breaking down the latest games, making predictions, and drawing inspiration from Scripture. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or looking to deepen your faith, this podcast is for you. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to support the show, you can do so with a one-time gift or by becoming a monthly donor. Just click support the show in the description. But hey, grab your favorite jersey and your Bible and let's dive into the game. Well, hey y'all. Hey, I'm here today with my boy Robert. What's up, Robert?
What's up, man?
Robert.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Robert Jackson. I mean, heck, we've only been talking about doing this for about a year now, so I'm glad we're kind of making it happen, dude.
Hey, I'm glad we're getting to it, man. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's time to put it on the pod.
Heck yeah, dude. And so we connected originally because we're Duke fans and we're a part of a group chat with some other boys, Rick Cam and stuff like that. So but I want to talk mostly about your running today. But before we get there, just tell me about being a Duke fan and when that started for you.
So ironically, it started in third grade. My teacher at the time was a big North Carolina fan. Our room was decorated in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go against the grain and mess with them. And I found out Duke was their biggest rival.
Yep.
And then I would make a bet with them in class. It was like something childish.
Yeah.
You know, it can't be too serious. You know, I would act like I was a real Duke fan then. And then after a while, I just kept going with it. And then I just started loving them. So I've been rocking with Duke since third grade, really just because it was to piss my teacher off.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, I just stuck with them. And
yeah.
I'm happy that I did.
Let's go, bro. And that was how long ago? I mean, like obviously third grade. So
third grade. You date me, man.
I know.
Let's see.
I'm just trying to get an idea of what the team was, you know?
Yeah, I'm about 9-10 years old, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. What year, though? Do you remember what team that was?
Nah, bro, I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. But I want to say it could have been I could be wrong, don't quote me on this. Because I remember Daniel Ewing, Chris Duhon.
Okay.
From the early days.
Yeah.
When I first jumped on the bandwagon, so.
Okay, I got you. So some of those classic Duke teams, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool, dude.
I mean, I remember crying my eyes out when we lost to UConn in the Final Four.
Yeah.
With JJ, so
yep.
I remember all that.
So, gosh, back in those days.
I'm not going to lie. For the longest time, there wasn't a year that Duke got knocked out of the tournament and I didn't cry.
Right. Dang. So, Robert, I think you're older than me, dude. I mean, I'm not going to throw your age out there, but I'm pushing 29 in 3 weeks.
Man,
that's crazy. Because I started watching Duke around those days 20s. Too. Yeah.
What a time to be in the 20s, man.
I know, pushing 30. That's crazy.
It's all downhill from 30.
Oh my gosh! Don't tell me that. So
it's actually like 30 is the new 21.
So I've got a year left then because But you know what? Leah's only 26, so. I guess my theory is until my wife turns 30, I'm just going to keep claiming the 20s. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you can live through her.
Right. Just for a few more years. Yeah. Well, dude, so you're, I mean, I don't want to blow your head up too much, but you're a pretty good runner, dude. I mean, so just kind of so I guess just tell me about some of your running, your stats, some of your records, how often you run, just kind of give me a little snapshot or a big one.
Gotcha. Okay, so running is almost like a full-time job at the moment. You run two times a day. I run 100-mile weeks,
Gosh.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of pounding on the pavement.
100 miles per week. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
For the most part, before injury earlier, late this summer actually, I was averaging 95 miles a week. So. And you got to think, though, I mean, the average is like that because, I mean, you got certain races, you take some time off. You don't run as much during the week, so that lowers your average. But 95 before injury. Now, by the end of the year, I'll be close to 4,000 miles this year. So just put that in perspective.
That's crazy, yeah.
I recently just finished my last marathon for the year.
Okay.
It was a 2:30. It was a 2:37, so I was happy with that.
When was that?
It was in here. It was here in Indianapolis this past November.
Okay.
Yeah. If you asked me at the beginning of the year if I'd finished the year with a 2:37 as my best race, I probably would be upset because the way my training was going this summer, I was the fastest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to look at silver lining. I came back.
Yeah.
I was practically pretty much out from September all the way until August 1st. So I took I was out for a whole month and was able to get a whole month back. Actually, I was out August, September, came back October 1st, trained hard for a month.
That's crazy, man.
I was able to stay in shape using the elliptical. A lot of people don't like it, but the elliptical, I know it's a thing for the moms out there.
Yeah.
But it can make you fit, so just put that in perspective.
Okay. Man, I'm going to have to get me one of those. How many marathons have you ran?
9.
Gosh.
So 9 marathons. I was going to be plus 10 this year, but 9 marathons in only just 2 years of full running.
When was your first marathon?
My first marathon was the one I got talked into. It was in November of 2021. Very first one. My friend talked me into it.
Dude, so in 3 years, you've done 9 marathons.
Yeah, I mean, in the first year, it was just me training for one because I got talked into it.
Yeah.
So, full training and, like, full running, I've been doing it 2 complete years, about to be my 3rd.
Wow.
But, yeah.
So, prior to that first marathon in 2021, you weren't really a runner?
No, the most I've ever ran outside before training for that first marathon was just 3 miles for, like, your typical, like, basically 5K, and I was just doing it just to do it. But really, I was running daily on the treadmill, I would say. That was just part of my lifting, so I would run on the treadmill like 30 minutes before I lift.
Yeah.
So I was real big into lifting. I still lift a lot now, but it's not my main priority like it was then.
Wow.
So, yeah, before I ever trained for a marathon, the most I ever ran outside was 3 miles.
Wow. So is 2:37 your best time?
Yeah, it's my best time at the moment.
Wow.
It won't be that way for long.
Do you have one on the horizon?
I do have one in the upcoming year in spring. So it's just a long training block now. The hard thing about training for spring races are you don't know the weather.
Right.
Because it's early spring, so it could still be a little chilly, or it could be hot, and then you're not prepared for the hot because you've been training in like negative 20-degree weather.
Right. Because you live where at again?
I live in Indianapolis, so it gets pretty chilly. I mean, I had a run yesterday. It was like -8 real
Dude,
feel, so
you ran in -8.
chilly.
Like that's fascinating because how do you even breathe when it's that cold? I can run in 30-degree weather and I feel like I'm coming down with like the cold or something.
Honestly, it's like the same thing with heat. It takes you a few weeks to get acclimated. So when it's hot, you got to get used to humidity. And then after a while, you're just used to it. And then when it's cold, you got to get used to your lungs being like squeezed. But after a couple weeks, you pretty much get used to it. And then after that, it's just just keeping your body warm. So I try to run as fast as possible then.
Yeah. I got you. So you got a marathon. Well, so that's 9 marathons under your belt. Obviously, you don't have any intentions of stopping doing marathons right now. And so what does like a typical marathon training look like?
It's about 4 months, 3 to 4 months. Like I said, 100-mile weeks, a lot of lifting, but then you got to do the maintenance. You got to do a lot. People sleep on like lifting. I do a lot of plyometrics and stretching. See a chiropractor religiously. Yeah. Because if not, you're just gonna kill your body.
Yeah.
A lot of sleep. I fall asleep a lot.
Yeah.
You'll catch me falling asleep sometimes at my desk.
Oh, I see the Instagram stories where your wife posts you falling asleep at the most random parts of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Most importantly, though, I try to make sure running doesn't take away from family time. So I do it. Like I run at like 5 in the morning every morning, just so I'm here to see the kids before they go to school.
Yeah.
And then when I run my other run, I run it at lunchtime. So when I pick my kids up from school, I'm there 100% instead of saying, all right, here's dinner. Let me run outside real quick.
Wow.
So I like to make sure everything's family first, and I put my running away from the family schedule.
Gosh.
For the most part.
So I'm just curious because I like to run. Well, I say that. I like to do my version of running, which is like, probably like 3 miles, 5K. I like to run outside when it's a comfortable temperature. And even then, I mean, my time's like it is what it is. But so when you wake up in the morning and you're going to go run at 5 in the morning, like, what does that look like practically? So you wake up, do you eat something or how much do you drink? Just kind of like, just kind of walk me through that.
Well, in the morning for like a easy run. So, for example, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and run 12. So
12
I'm
miles.
going to,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna wake up. First thing I do is I go to my bathroom, get dressed, drink a 16-ounce glass of water.
Yeah.
That helps get the system flowing. Use your restroom, and after that, you're pretty much good to go. I don't really need much in the morning.
Yeah.
For those type of runs. Now, if I was gonna go do like a harder run, so like on Saturday mornings, I wake up, I drink some electrolytes, and I eat a bagel and 2 things of fruit snacks, and then I go run like 20-something miles. That's what I do on Saturdays. But typically Monday through Friday, it's just wake up, crawl out of bed, and regret why I'm doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I hit the pavement.
Dude, you are on crack or something. I just couldn't even imagine a world where I said, you know what? I'm going to get up at like 4:30 in the morning or 5, and I'm going to go run 12 miles for my starting run. That's crazy. So what does like a typical diet look like for you? Because obviously, I would imagine that you could eat like McDonald's on the regular but like run like that. So what does a diet generally look like for you?
I mean,
like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever.
Yeah, so compared to my peers, I have a really picky diet. I'm really strict on my diet. You don't have to be as strict as I am.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I also have an eating disorder. So that's really big in running, eating disorders. Mine is called orthorexia nervosa.
Okay.
Long story short is I'm like my mental is like real stuck on eating healthy.
Right.
But I don't eat a lot. So say that I like grilled chicken. I eat grilled chicken. That's good for me, but I don't eat enough grilled chicken. Like I need the bigger portions. I'm burning like 3,000 calories a day almost just in running. Not just,
easily, right.
You're burning, and then you burn more on top of that just being alive and breathing throughout your day to day.
Like I should probably burning close to 6,000 calories a day, 5 or 6. Yeah.
And with me, I'm always in a calorie deficit. So, I mean, I've improved, but I'm still nowhere where I need to be. I'm still in a calorie deficit like all the time. But with me, I'm usually... I've like, for the past 2 years, I haven't even done breakfast. Now I do like a breakfast snack in a way.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll go run in the morning, and now I have a bagel. I mean, that's not the biggest thing, but it's an improvement for me.
Absolutely.
And as far as my condition.
Yeah.
So I do bagel and coffee. And then lunch, I usually do, I'm a big fan of rice cakes. I do rice cakes and some crackers. And then I do a loaded protein shake that has a banana. Also, it has my greens in it. It has collagen in it. Yeah. Cinnamon. I do a lot of cinnamon in my diet as a way I put that in my diet. That's anti-inflammatory. It's more natural than just taking medicine. So a lot of cinnamon in my coffee, a lot of cinnamon in my protein shake. So I have a loaded protein shake, and that holds me over till dinner. And then dinner is just turkey and grilled chicken. Okay. And then that's about it.
So, gosh, man, and so with that diet, I feel like most runners, they have like almost like a victory meal. So they run the marathon or whatever. Do you have like a victory meal where you just go out and you eat whatever? Okay, all right, cool.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, man. So what is that?
So that's the thing I'm thinking about the most the week of the race. The week of the race, I'm thinking about, well, what am I going to eat after the race? Like, where are we going? This and that.
Because it's got to be good.
For sure, it's always going to be pizza after the race. Like, I'm going to have a piece of pizza or a pizza after a race at all times because that's the one thing I could eat probably every day of the week, and I deprive myself of it. Yeah. Like I said, I don't have to be as strict as I am. Like my teammates, they're okay with having pizza mentally throughout a training block. Me, on the other hand, nah.
Right.
So that's like my reward. So like for example, I finished my last marathon in November. That day I had a large pizza and a order of breadsticks, and I was like, man, the next day I wanted it again. So I just had another large pizza
There you go.
and another order of breadsticks. But it's usually pizza, a lot of cookies,
Yeah.
some ice cream. Throw some margaritas in there. I definitely have a margarita after every race.
Gosh.
I don't really do.
Yeah.
I don't really do. I don't drink much at all. It's
Right.
very seldom. It's mainly after a race or like a birthday. But
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah, that's a given. Gosh, and okay, well, and so now I'm just curious because I've always wondered this. People that run marathons, and this might be a dumb question, like because a marathon that's like what 26 miles.
26.2. Yep.
Okay. Now, do you run the entire time? Do you walk at all, or like what does it look like during a marathon for you, the runner,
Really,
even as far as how you
honestly,
hydrate or?
it really just depends on the day you're having. I've pretty much I've went into a marathon almost every time and then PR'd almost every time.
Yeah.
That's very rare. You don't usually do that. But in some of the ones I've done better, I've walked some, I've jogged, and sometimes I ran the whole thing. Like my first 2 marathons, there was a time and place where I walked some. I just didn't have it, and then I got my little energy back, and then I finished. Then the last several, I haven't had to walk at all.
Wow.
So it really just depends on the day you're having.
Yeah.
And if you got it that day.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
there is some walking. There's walking. There's some jogging. But for the last several, it's just been straight running for me.
So that last marathon, the 2:37, what does that equate to? Or like, in other words, what was your average split for that one?
We're looking at like a 5:55 or sub 6. It's just easier to say sub 6, like 5:57 or in that range. I don't know. Sub 6 pace.
Gosh, bro.
So,
And I thought that my average split of 8:45 was good for my 3 miles. You're like 5. That's crazy, man. But it's inspiring though. Yeah.
it's funny that you talk about like 3 miles like in 5K because I absolutely hate the 5K.
Yeah.
I'd rather go run a marathon than run a 5K. Absolutely hate the 5K.
That's crazy. Do you feel like a lot of pressure to really pace yourself in marathons when you start off? Because I feel like sometimes when I run, I'll start off too fast or too slow sometimes. You know what I mean? And so what does that look like for you?
I don't feel like I feel too much pressure to pace myself. I've become pretty in tune with my body over the years of doing this and throughout the races, so I know like what I need to be doing. I have a plan going in each race, like what I need to, what splits I need to have, what pace range.
Yeah.
I like to tie myself to a pace range instead of like a certain pace because then that makes it gets into your head. Like if I'm off this 1 mile by like 2 seconds, but if I'm in a range, I'm doing just fine. So I have my ranges of where I want to be per like 5 miles or half mile, like every 6 miles, something like that. I have pace ranges I have set up for me in my head.
Yeah. Gosh, okay. Well, so I would imagine that with that much running, that many marathons, I mean for the typical person, that's going to take a toll on the body. So what does your recovery process look like?
Oh, man, that's a good question. So if you're talking about just like recovery after a race, it really just depends on how much you had to go in the hole for that race. So with me, in marathon, they call it like a double. So a lot of my marathons are back to back, like within a month.
Wow.
And luckily, for some reason, I don't know if it's my body that just knows this, but it knows I have a marathon in a month. And usually when I do those back-to-backs, I'm not too sore to the first one. The second one, I'm usually kind of beat. But it really just depends on the type of course you're running, too. That will make your recovery long or not. But they do say to take at least like a week to 2 off after a marathon. Usually for me, it's about like 2 days.
I got you. So what about typical running in recovery? Because I know some people do like chambers, people do like the ice baths. Do you do like that type of stuff? Yeah.
ice baths are key. I do some ice baths, Epsom salt baths.
Okay.
I got those nice little fancy compression boots that make your legs look like marshmallows.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do some shock therapy as well. So I got the I forgot what it was called now that I think about it, but put the sticky pads on me, and then I just do some shock therapy and sit there while it zaps my leg for a while. But honestly, the most important thing is really fueling up on carbs after a hard run.
Yeah.
And then sleep. So when I first got into running, I don't know, I just liked being up and watching all the Duke games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to bed late and only getting like 4 hours of sleep. Now I'm getting close to 7.5, which still is not the 8 that they recommend, but you go from 4 to 7. I saw my performance increase so much, it was crazy.
And they're making it hard on us this year, man. I feel like every Duke game's it's been like an average 9 p.m. start time.
That's what I told you guys in the group chat, man. Like, it's killing me.
Yeah, like gosh, I mean, wasn't the Kentucky, Kansas, and Arizona? I think they were all like 9 to 10 p.m. start times. Like that's just too rough, bro.
Yeah, definitely
and
were,
the Auburn one. Yeah, that's right.
They definitely were.
Because was it the Auburn game? You were texting us the next day talking about, man, it's 21 to or to like 10 right now. You know, this dude in Auburn's killing the threes. I'm like, bro, it's a day late watching this game, but you know,
yeah,
that's the.
But I'll let you know I'm a real one though, because I recorded and then I was texting y'all about it. Even though I already knew who won because I was already on Twitter. Like that night, I woke up at like I don't never really sleep through the night. I'll wake up for a second or two.
Yeah.
So once I knew the Duke game was over because I woke up at like 1:30. So let me check Twitter real quick.
Yeah.
I always check for like your tweets, Rick and Cam's, and go from there.
Oh yeah, or just check the group chat. As crazy as that thing gets sometimes during the games.
I definitely checked the group chat.
Hey, I was gonna bring up Cam and the Bills, but I'll save that for later. Because that's just some pretty funny stuff right there. Well, dude, so gosh, man, like to me, this is all fascinating. But it motivates me to try to get better about my diet, about my sleep schedule, actually running more consistently. Because I am way behind right now. But so the question I want to ask you is, what drives you?
Man, honestly, it's showing my kids that they can do hard things. That's one. And then two, you might not know this, but like if you just look at the field, like if you ever watch a race, go out there and look how many people are of color.
Yeah.
There's not really much African American representation out there.
Yeah.
And then, so definitely the marathon. I mean, in general, long distance is not sexy, man. Nobody wants to do it. It's gritty.
Right.
Now, if you look at track, that's where we shine as far as like African Americans.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit more style too. You add your own flair. You got the necklaces and whatnot. When it comes to track, you don't really have that. In long distance, you have guys with mustaches and long hair and short shorts. So I definitely stick out when I run.
Yeah.
I would say that for sure. But I do like being like the top like black guy in this race, like having the top finish or being that top 5. And then recently I just was made aware that I'm in the top 25 of U.S. born African American males in marathon history. So the goal is to keep climbing up the ranks in that.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, so it's a big accomplishment for me. I was really excited to find out that I was in the top 25, like all time marathons, U.S. born African American. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, man, that's just crazy. And you ran the Boston Marathon, right?
Yeah, I've ran it 3 times.
Wow. What are some of the other places that you've ran?
So I've ran Boston 3 times. I was supposed to run Chicago again this year, but I ran in Chicago before.
Okay.
And I ran Berlin. Wow. Berlin was really cool. It was nice. So that's part of the majors, because in marathon they have these majors. It's similar to like what you think of like tennis or golf. They have it like that, and you try to get all those knocked off the list. So there's a couple more that I need to get on my list, but in due time.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. Where has been your favorite place to run?
Honestly, my favorite place to run. It feels like I'm hardly ever home to run my races.
Yeah.
But I want to say here in Indy, the Indianapolis Monumental is a great course. It's actually top 15 in the U.S. as far as race courses and marathons. It's one of the fastest and flattest courses. Just putting that out there if you guys ever want to come through Indy and run that race. A lot of people use it to qualify for Boston Marathon or use it to qualify for the Olympic trials when the Olympic trial window is open. Because it's a flat course. So, I mean, I've ran the race. I ran the marathon 3 times, and I PR'd it every time when I ran it here. Yeah. And then the half marathon, I PR'd it too. So I'm 4 for 4 when I run on my home course. So I like it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to come out there someday. And before I forget to ask this question, so if people want to follow your running and your races and your stats and all that, what's the best way to do that?
Oh, yeah. Hit me up on IG, RobJack15. Once again, RobJack15. Hit me with a follow. I'd love to talk to you if you want some tips or things like that. It's crazy how many people I've met in races, and then they'll follow me after the race. Yeah. And then we just hit it off like that. I got a lot of buddies in different states just through running with them for a few miles in the race. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. And because I met you through Twitter. I'm pretty sure I met you through the group of guys like Rick and all that stuff. And then, of course, we just followed one another. And I was always blown away by just like your dedication to your fitness. I'm like, this dude is committed. And especially for me, I mean, because, gosh, if you started running in 2021, I feel like we got connected around like 2022 era, year, I think. And that's kind of when I was trying to get serious about working out. And so I remember I hit you at one time asking for some advice, and you were very helpful, dude. So yeah, I just appreciate that. And well, that's incredible, Rob. I've got one more question for you, dude. What's up?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you maybe more of like a personal question, and I know I texted you about it just a little bit, but I would love for you to just share about a time where God helped you through a tough season, through a tough situation, just a time where you feel like God has kind of looked out for you, He was with you, and He helped you.
Yeah, so it's crazy. This past March, my mom passed away. Yeah. And I had a training race that week that she passed away. It was actually 2 days after she passed away. It was a training race. I was going to run it to see what my fitness was. It was actually supposed to be right before Boston. Yeah. So I wasn't like racing it, but it was going to be a hard workout. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. And then everything happened. And it was like, coach was like, just take the weekend off, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm gonna run this. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I don't really remember the race. It's like the only race I don't remember. Yeah. And I had like a 3-minute PR, on my 2-minute PR on my half marathon. Wow. And I finally got to an okay half marathon time for somebody at my speed. And the coach was like, well, what did you do? This is a training run. And you didn't even run it. Looking at my stats, it didn't look like I was pushing hard. I said, I don't know, man. There were so many times I was talking to my mom throughout that race. Yeah. Because for her, it had been the first time she'd able to see me race. Because my mom, she was handicapped. She couldn't move around well. And then standing at races, because there's nowhere to really sit. Right. She couldn't stand a long time for those marathons. So she really never got to see me race. And I remember I was like, man, this is the first time my mom's going to be able to see me run. Yeah. So I need to have a good day. And there was also no pressure, though, because I wasn't treating it like a race. So it kind of looked into it. And there was I remember mile 11. So there's 13, mile 11. And my guy was like, man, we're doing this. We're killing it. And he's running with me. And I look up to the sky. I said, let's go. And I yell. Yeah. And then I got another boost of energy. So it was pretty cool. I had another moment like that in another race this past spring. Oh, it's actually past summer, in May. Yeah. Similar to that, I ran past the hospital that my mom was in for rehab when we thought she was going to possibly make it. Yeah. And it was another boost, and I outran 7 people from that point on and passed them up in the rankings. So that's pretty cool as well. Yeah. Well,
man, I've got to commend you to, and we haven't talked too much about this since then, but I just really I admire the way you just held yourself together through that whole time. Because, gosh, man, during the time your mom was sick and all that, I mean, we texted almost daily there at one point, I feel like, or at least like a few times a week.
Yeah, you sent my mom flowers to the hospital and everything.
Yeah.
It was greatly appreciated.
Yeah,
My dad loved him.
Yeah.
My wife loved him, so we appreciate that.
Hey, man, that's what family does. But I was just blown away by just how collected you were. Because I know, well, I don't know that specifically, but like, man, that's a tough situation. But you held yourself together, and you were solid, and so I just commend you for that, man. That was inspiring in itself. So,
thank you, man. I greatly appreciate it.
yeah. Well, Rob, come on, bro. I enjoy talking with you, and I guess now we got to get ready for more Duke basketball. So,
yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it. And as you know, talking about Duke basketball, they got a game tonight. Start off the ACC, so let's start off the season 1-0 ACC play. That'd be nice.
yeah, dude, I feel like the season's. I mean, like it's already been full of heart attacks. It's already like we've had so many games so far where my stress level has been way too high. So I'm kind of hoping conference play won't be as intense as the pre-conference. Hopefully Duke will just kind of flow well this conference. We'll see, man. Who knows? Who freaking knows?
They wouldn't be Duke, though, if they didn't give us a heart attack here and there. I feel like we've had a few of those the last couple of years. Just gotta pray.
Yeah. But we can do well, beat Carolina, and make a deep run in March. Let's just do it. Let's see what the heck happens with this Duke team. I'm excited, man. I really am. I'm like, with this team, I mean, I'm actually excited every Duke game, which I typically always am, but this year more than normal. For some reason, I don't know. I'm just very pumped every time it's like, man, it's game day. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, I feel you. I agree with you, man. It's must-see TV, so I'm definitely tuned in as much as I can without losing some sleep.
Absolutely. Well, y'all go check my boy out on Instagram. Hey, dude, Rob, I didn't even know there was a running app until like 2 days ago when Caleb was telling me about it. I'm like, there's an app just for runners. So, anyways, I just learned something new there too. But they got that running app. What is it called?
Strava.
Yeah, there it is. Y'all go follow Rob on that too, and I'm sure if you just type in Robert Jackson, you'll pop right up. So,
yeah, there's not too many of me out there.
Yeah. Well, all right, Robert. Appreciate it, dude. And I'm sure I'll be texting you in the group chat later. So,
yeah, no worries, man. Have a good one. Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. That's a wrap for today's episode of Jesus Take the Three. Thanks for tuning in. Whether you're a basketball junkie, a believer, or both, I hope you're walking away inspired. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this podcast with friends who might enjoy it as well. You can also check out our new website, www.JesusTakeThe3.org. Hey, keep hooping, keep believing, and I'll see you next week for more faith, basketball, and life. Until then, hey, take the three with Jesus. You will never miss.